Chapter 10. Leaning against the side of the truck, I could feel the wind cool my burning cheeks off quickly and dry them as well. I tried to steady my breathing. My heart was pounding in my ears. I didn't care what my father thought. I didn't want to go live with him. All I wanted to do was live happily ever after at Carbondale Ranch. But since I knew that wouldn't happen, I was pulling for just being able to stay for the next week or so. And I was already trying to figure out a way to be there for the summer camp, either as a camper or as a worker. I had accidentally left the jacket inside. I tried the truck doors, hoping to get out of the wind, but they were locked. I walked around the truck nervously, and it helped keep me warm. Once, twice, 5 times. I walked back to the hospital, then turned around 5 feet from the door. Walked back to the truck, went all the way to the emergency room door, then back to the truck again. What could be taking so long? I walked around the truck 2 more times. Okay, fine, this time I'll just go in, I promised myself. I must look like a moron walking back and forth out here. I got halfway back to the hospital door when it swung open and Mr. Hassler walked out. When he got within a couple of feet, he tossed me the jacket. Ready to go? He asked, striding right past me. Sure, I said, pulling on the jacket and hurrying to keep up with him. I looked back over my shoulder 3 times as we were pulling out of the parking lot. He wasn't saying anything, and the whole situation felt wrong, like we were running away from something. My teeth started chattering in spite of the jacket. He glanced at me and turned the heater on, but he still didn't say anything. I was dying of curiosity, but I didn't want to give him the satisfaction of knowing it was bothering me. Any normal person would just tell you what had happened after you left. Mr. H was being a jerk, and I wasn't going to ask him about it. Hey, I said with half a smile. It looks like I got out of writing my paper again. Mr. H grunted. It's no big deal anyway. It's not like I'm failing or anything. I'm getting by. Life is not about getting by, Sean. It's about meeting challenges and giving everything and everyone all that you have. Maybe it used to be, I retorted, but it's not like that anymore. People who work all the time get all stressed out and never have the time to enjoy life. I'm not ever going to be like that. He frowned. No, you certainly aren't. I sat back and relaxed. At least he wasn't going to fight me on that. He continued, You'll just get by, and you'll have to work all the time at a low-paying job and never have the opportunity to decide if you want to take the time off to enjoy life. It'll be financially impossible for you to take time off. I glared at him. I'll make a good living. Doing what? How should I know? I'm only 15, for Pete's sake. Only 15? He mimicked. Too young to know what you want to do, but old enough to have decided you don't care about anything or anyone. Old enough to have decided you're not going to do anything with your life because all you need to do is get by. Pull over. What? My lips felt like ice and I was shaking all over, but I repeated myself. Pull over. I'll just walk back to my mother's house from here. I'm not going to listen to this stuff from my father, and I'm sure not going to listen to it from some old fart who's a complete stranger. Boy, you've really got it all wrong, he said, shaking his head. Pull over. Like hell, he growled. I reached for the door handle. I didn't care how fast we were going. I was getting out. As soon as I moved, though, he slammed his hand down on my thigh, just above my knee, and squeezed. Hard. The pain was unreal. Don't even think about it, he snarled. This is kidnapping, I yelled. I'll sue. This is assault. Your butt is mine. He did pull over then, although it was more of a sudden swerve, and suddenly I knew I had crossed some line I had never wanted to cross. I threw myself out of the truck before it came to a complete stop and bolted through the field. He caught me. I don't know how, but he did. Well, actually, he tripped me and kind of landed on top of me, but he yanked me up again by the collar before I really felt the impact. He shook me a few times, his face just inches from mine. I told you before, when you talk to people who care about you, you treat them with respect. You put effort forward and give them what they've given to you. Do you understand me? He was really yelling at me. Yes, sir, I ground out sarcastically. You're giving me so much respect right now, I don't know how I missed it. Where do you come off, pulling this attitude with me, huh? Who do you think you are? He shook me again under the freezing stars. Do you think you're the only one who hurts, and that makes you better than everyone else? I know I'm not the only one who hurts, I yelled back, but I'm tired of being hurt, and I'm not going to take it from anyone anymore. Let go of me. You don't care. You can get the next kid they bust to come and shovel crap for you. I don't matter to you. Getting your work done for free is all that's important to you." He released me suddenly, and I dropped to the ground. Towering above me with his hands on his hips, he yelled at me so loud his voice was shaking. "I just put not only myself on the line, I put my whole ranch, my whole life on the line for you. You don't want to go to Daddy. You cry, so I step in and fight and get you the right to stay with me. And then all you can think about is skating by in life. You don't want to do a damn thing if it involves work and effort. Is that why you didn't want to go to your father? Huh? Because by God, I will not coddle a boy who's simply being selfish." "I am not selfish," I screamed at him. "You're just upset because now you're the one who stands to lose something. I've been losing my whole life. You made it sound like your life at home was bad. Now I wonder if you were just too much of a pansy to handle life, and you're the one who made your home life bad." I stared up at him. "Oh yeah, like you know anything about my home life." "I'd know more about your home life if you cared enough to talk about it." He stopped yelling, sort of. "You say you've been losing your whole life," he said. "Well, I've got news for you, bucko. You've been losing because you don't have the guts to try to win. It's easier for you to roll over and say you've lost, so you don't even try to win. And then you look for pity. Well, you're not going to get any pity from me. I've given you all the chances I know how to give. You can't even say thank you, probably because it takes too much effort." In the background, I could hear the truck engine running. The air was frosty, the ground was hard, and the clouds made the night seem like a black hell. "Forget it." He threw his hands up in disgust. "Go throw your life away. Go sulk at Dad's and shut yourself off from everyone." He turned and kicked at a weed at his feet. "You've made it clear you don't want me. Why should I want you?" He turned away and walked towards the road. He didn't understand. No one understood. I felt completely alone again. I didn't like it. I got up and dusted myself off. I broke into a light jog to catch up with him. I reached the passenger side of the truck just as he was opening the driver's door. He stopped and looked over the roof at me. I held his gaze as long as I could, which wasn't very long. I opened my mouth to apologize, but I just couldn't. Instead, I said, "I'd like to be able to stay at the ranch until I'm done with my community service. I'll do any chores you give me, and I won't complain." Mr. H didn't say anything. "And I'll do my homework. I'll do the best I know how to do." He looked at me for a long time. I tried to stay still, but I had a hard time keeping my teeth from chattering. "You planning on doing any more cooking?" he asked. "Only if you tell me to." "I don't think I can afford pizzas every night for the next couple of weeks," Mr. H said dryly. "I'll try to be more careful and pay attention in the kitchen. If you come with me now, there'll be no more back talk, and you'll give 100% to each job I give you, whether I tell you to give 100% or not." I nodded, bouncing on my feet, trying to stay warm. "Well then, let's go. 6:30 comes early in the morning." I just enjoyed the warmth of the truck for the rest of the drive to the ranch. My eyes kept closing, and then my head would drop forward until I snapped it back. The cold air on the walk to the house woke me up a little, but I was still exhausted. We climbed the stairs silently, and then he turned toward his end of the hall. "Mr. H?" He stopped but didn't turn around. "What did you mean when you said you had put yourself and the ranch on the line for me?" His shoulders dropped a little. "Your father thinks he can get a lawsuit out of this." I didn't understand. "Why?" I asked. "What did you say?" "I told him that I had been given partial custody for the rest of the week and that you were still doing community service for me." "But if that's all true, where would a lawsuit come from?" He bowed his head. "When we were talking, neither of us used the most polite tones or words we could find. I believe the charges he had in mind are slander and assault." "Assault?" He still hadn't turned around. "He said something, and I hit him." "What did he say?" "It doesn't matter." "It was about me, wasn't it?" "It doesn't matter, Sean. I lost my temper, and I shouldn't have." "Mr. H." He still didn't turn around. "Dave," I said, and this time he turned slowly. I waited until he looked at me. "Thank you for everything. You've... I stopped, took a deep breath, and started over. "Thank you for giving me your chocolate." This time I was the one who turned away with my head down. "Good night, Sean. See you in the morning."